parked at the park. Today's kind of overcast, so I'm not sure how good my stream will be. If there's any problems with this stream, I apologize. If the stream's just too bad, I might just go ahead and record it offline and then put it up. But I wanted to talk about Keys Gasoline comeback because I should have talked about this to you guys like 3 days ago, probably. But I decided to order my albums from a different vendor, and they haven't even shipped yet. So I felt like rather than waiting until I get the albums in hand, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the album now, even though I can't say anything about the packaging because I don't have it. I ordered my albums from kpoptown.com this time, and in the past I've had really good luck with Kpop Town. I've not ever had any issue about my stuff shipping late. My stuff usually always arrives in really good condition from Kpop Town. I don't know what the fuck is going on this time, but yeah, I pre-ordered Key's album, and I pre-ordered the album because kpoptown.com has this promotion that if you pre-order the albums with them, they'll give you the folded poster for free, which I really like the visuals for this album. I liked the whole B movie monster from Bad Love. I thought that was really cool. But this was more like a Stranger Things 80s VHS movie type of thing, Ghostbusters, Goonies, that kind of stuff, which is an aesthetic I really like. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and opt for the folded posters this time around. And yeah, it still hasn't shipped. It didn't ship on Wednesday when the album came out. It didn't ship on Thursday. On Friday, it didn't ship. And so I sent a message to Kpop Town saying, hey, when will my album ship? They wrote me back Monday, today's Wednesday, saying, your albums will ship soon. Thank you for being patient. Now it is Wednesday. It is officially a full week from when the album came out. I have not gotten any kind of confirmation that my shipment is in the mail, that it is on its way. And it's not like the shipping was cheap. Kpop Town uses DHL, which I think is what K-Pop for You does too. K-Town for You does. And DHL is way more expensive than FedEx. Catch Up CD uses FedEx. So for the amount that the shipping is, I really expected my albums to be shipped by now. And it hasn't even been put in the mail yet. So rather than wait possibly the extra week before I get this album to talk about it, I feel like I will just talk about it now. So, as you can see from the title, I'm asking, does Key's album work for me? Does Gasoline work for me? And the short answer is no, not really. Key is an interesting artist to follow if you only follow his discography by himself, not his stuff with SHINee or anything like that. If you look at just his collabs, his individual projects, and the things he's featured on, Key is an interesting artist because he's really hard to pin down. Like, there's no style that I would associate with Key other than maybe like dancey, poppy music. But really and truly, Key kind of does his own thing. So I didn't know what to expect going into this album because I would never say that Bad Love is anything similar to Hologram, which is nothing similar, in my opinion, to I Wanna Be. So yeah, I had no real expectations for this project. But then I saw the pre-release single, which is, I have to get the name of it here. The pre-release single was Another Life, which is all in English. Song slaps. So I'm like, okay, well, I like this a lot. The little preview snippet that he gave us of Villain, I thought sounded okay. I was excited for Gasoline. Gasoline, the song, came out along with the video, and while the video was cute, I was also like, this is just an SM video. This is a soundstage. These are some costumes. These are some backup dancers. There's literally nothing in that video that's interesting at all. And what's crazy to me, and I don't understand this, is that Key put together a really nice graphic package concept to go for the packaging for this album. Why wasn't any of that used for the video? Like, seriously. Now, I will give it to Key. This is very much Key in his SM girl group era. Like, if you look at the outfits and you listen to the song, it very much feels like Key said, hey, I know you have a song for aespa that doesn't really fit into their next album. Give it to me and I will do it. I mean, everything from the really terrible rap to the kind of bland chorus, like, the whole thing very much speaks to, like, SM girl group vibe. And I'm here for it. I think it's fine. But the video is just fucking boring, and no amount of skirt wearing is going to save the video at all. And again, if you look at the teasers for the packaging for the album, because there were filmed teasers, why was that not the concept for the video? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And this is maybe a fault with SM. Maybe SM is relying too hard on their studio setups and they're just not willing to film anything that doesn't take place in one of their box studios. But K-pop videos, really and truly on trend, have gotten very boring. It's basically the same thing happening all the time. You cannot tell me that you can look at like the last 3 Blackpink videos and be like, oh, each concept was so unique. It's not. You know, you can say a lot of things about how you feel about BTS, but at least them boys get outside every once in a while. A lot of these other companies, they stay in the box. And I need something else from Key. I really, really needed something else. So after listening to all of Gasoline, I was like, I don't know if this album's going to be right, because I really do like Another Life. I do not like Gasoline. And I feel like maybe I'm being tricked by this snippet of Villain. So I decided to go ahead and write my thoughts about every track on this album so I could discuss it with you. Because I feel like if you can't be fair about your faves, you can't be fair about anybody else. And Key, Taemin, Onu, Minho, Jonghyun, SHINee is my faves. I mean, I fucking have a SHINee tattoo, of course. I mean, they are my faves. And so I'm just going to be really honest with you about how I feel about this Key second album. So let's start with Gasoline. I already told you how I feel about that song. Next we have Bound. I wrote on my notes that I thought that the lower register that Key starts the song with is really interesting. I also thought that song had a really cool bass line. I don't know how to describe that bass line, but it's kind of funky. It's kind of dark. It's just really nice. It has a great bass line. But the falsetto chorus of that song bothers me to no end. Like, it's just, you're in a deeper register all throughout the verses. You've got this booming kind of bop bass line, and then all of a sudden he's like really high falsetto in the chorus. It's kind of sharp, and you didn't have that same sharpness with the verses. And to me, I just felt like it didn't really match up very well. I understand that that's kind of the thing that people are doing, is like punch you in the throat with the falsetto in the chorus. But you know what? I really miss men just singing in their mid-range. I know this is a weird critique, and it's not Key's fault that he's following the trends of current popular music, but like, don't you miss men just singing in their mid-range? Like, if you look back at like Usher, and you look back at like the 8701 album and the big hits from there, like You Got It Bad and You Don't Have to Call, he spends most of the song in his mid-range and then maybe goes up high for the chorus or the after bridge, but not even the full chorus, just like one piece of it. And I don't know, I just would have liked to have experienced more of Key in his deeper range, because it sounded really interesting and really, really cool. Also, he has this phrase on the song, You Got Me Bound, and like, he says, you got me bound. It sounds really cool. So I just thought I'd make a note of that. Like, of the English phrases on this album, that was one of my favorite moments. Next, we have Villain, which has Gino from NCT as the guest feature. He does the rap on it. Maybe it's because there's so many members of NCT that there's only a few people whose voices stand out in that entire group to me. Gino could have been anybody. They could have literally recruited anybody at SM to do Gino's part of the song, and I would not have been able to tell the difference. I thought he sounded like Taeyong. I just didn't see what the point was. And his rap feature is okay. It's that kind of sing-songy rap, so it's not like hard rapping. It's more like I'm kind of singing, but I'm not really singing, therefore it must be called rapping. But it was just kind of, yeah, it was just kind of there. It wasn't anything really super special. And then you have Key singing, and I was like, Key sounds good, but I just don't see anywhere where his like vocals and Gino's vocals complement each other. And so I was really disappointed that like there wasn't more play between Key and Gino to at least make it to where I've got a feature not because I want NCT fans to listen to this single, but I've got a feature because I enjoy working with this person that I have the feature with. Because in the past, when you've seen Key's other features, it's very obvious that he likes the people he's featuring with. Not saying that he doesn't like Gino. From what I understand, they are actually friends in real life. But like he did the Taeyeon collaboration where somebody you liked. He did Crush, somebody you liked. He did Homegirl from Sistar, somebody you liked. And so that's why I just wanted to see him do the song and make it feel like he's collaborating with somebody he likes. And this is a great opportunity for him to do a song with someone he enjoys. That's not what the song came across as to me. It didn't come across as that to me. Now, I did say that I really liked the chorus on this song in my notes. And I said I kind of wish that the chorus for Villain was the chorus for Bound. Because I think that kind of the pace and like the pitch of his voice worked better for that song. But I think the reason why I like the chorus of this song is because it reminds me a lot of Naughty. Not in the best way. Like there's parts of it that remind me of Naughty by Irene and Selgi, but Naughty is a far superior song. You don't have to argue with me about it. We all know Naughty is that girl. But there's parts of the chorus of Bound that remind me of parts of the chorus of Naughty. So I wanted to make sure I noted that. There's these ad libs that Key does in this song that I found really interesting because I don't think I've ever heard those style of ad libs anywhere else. He does this in the song, and I'm just like, where'd that come from? That's different. Okay, next we have Burn. And my very first thought listening to Burn was, this is literally a Taemin song. Like, and I mean literally a Taemin song. This song was co-written by Ryan Jun, and he did like 3 songs on Taemin's Press It album. He did Sexuality, One by One, and Mystery Lover. He also has written just a ton of songs for SM. He worked on Married to the Music, and he worked on View. So like this guy, he is the SM sound, but he very much did like some signature Taemin sounding songs. And because of that, it was really hard for me to listen to this song and listen for Key because I spent the entire song being like, this is a Taemin song. Even the fact that the song has like a 1-word title, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Taemin song. Because Taemin songs like Move, Criminal, Idol, like it's just, that is the way he does his thing. And so yeah, I was just like, this is a Taemin song. I guess if you're in the military, you snooze, you lose. Next, we have Guilty Pleasure, which I really enjoyed Guilty Pleasure a lot. Like, I'm not going to say this whole album was trash because I did have moments that I really enjoyed. But as I was listening to Guilty Pleasure, and I need you to tell me if you'll notice the same thing, go ahead and listen to them after this live is over. A lot of Guilty Pleasure reminded me of The Weeknd's Take My Breath. I don't know what it was, but it's like the pacing of the song, the percussion on the song, the way that the song was like laid out. It very much reminded me of The Weeknd's Take My Breath, which, you know, take my breath away and make it last forever, babe. Do it now or never, babe. It reminded me of that song very much. But I like The Weeknd. I just went to his concert on the 18th of August. So, I mean, I'm not complaining about that. I just thought it was very interesting, like how similar those two songs were. And I shouldn't be surprised because London Noise produced Guilty Pleasure. So for those of you who don't listen to The Weeknd, you might feel like Guilty Pleasure sounds a lot like Gravity by EXO. So if you don't listen to The Weeknd, that's fine. If you listen to EXO and you've heard Gravity, there's a lot of instrumentation from Gravity that you find in Guilty Pleasure. It's a very similar vibe. But again, like I said, London Noise was on the track, so it makes a ton of sense that we would have that same sound. Okay, next is probably my least favorite song on this entire album, GOAT, which stands for Greatest of All Time because it's spelled out on the Spotify. Key co-wrote this song, and the song has kind of a kind of a twisted lullaby-ish sound. Like it has a lullaby sound, but like a dark lullaby. I absolutely hate the chorus of this song. I hate the chorus of this song. I think the song is boring as shit. I think the song is overly sentimental sounding. It reminds me of early Mika songs. I don't ask me to explain more of that, but yeah, I don't mind a sentimental song. And there's another song on this track list that is a sentimental song that I really dig. But this song, I could have absolutely done without. It doesn't, nothing on this album matches. This is not a cohesive project in any way, shape, or form. But this song really does stand out as like the worst song on this album. And it's unfortunate because I know that this album took work. There's 11 songs on this album. So this album took work, but this track is not it. Next, we have I Can't Sleep. And I put in big notes on here, is this supposed to sound like Troye Sivan? Because that's the vibe I got from this song. It's not a bad song, but like if I was going to describe this song to you, and me being a person who can't describe the sound of music, I'm going to describe a scene for you. And if you could imagine what kind of song plays over this scene, then you already know what this song sounds like. So imagine, if you will, a coming of age television show on Netflix, and we're at the season finale of that particular season, and the main character told a lie or did something that alienated them from their friends. And then in the last scene of the show, the friends get together after having several like heartwarming, soul affirming conversations, and they have a sleepover. And during the course of the sleepover, somebody turns on the radio and there's a song on the radio that everybody loves, and everybody picks up pillows and starts pillow fighting and dancing, and everyone's smiling, and it's kind of starting to go in slow motion. And then you hear a narrator speaking over the scene talking about, and that was the summer I realized that friends are more important than pizza, even if it is a margarita. And then the credits roll. This is the song that was playing. Like, that's what this song sounds like. It is crazy how oddly specific of a feeling this song gives. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that type of song. I mean, television shows and movies need soundtracks. So I can't say that I'm mad at the way that this song sounds. I'm just more frustrated with the fact that, like, this is an album that has this song that sounds like it was thrown on here as a leftover from another project. Like, it doesn't feel like this song was made for this album. It feels like this song was made for something else, and Key picked it up because it sounded like one of his favorite artists and decided to record it, but it did not feel like it was crafted to fit into the rest of this album. But that's because this album is such a hodgepodge that really nothing seems to fit. But like, this song sounds old-fashioned as well. So anyway, next we have Ain't Gonna Dance, which my note on here was, weirdly, the only song that sounds like a lap dance song, granted in a weird Christian Grey-esque nightclub. Favorite vocal performance. So I can't, Ain't Gonna Dance is a song where he's basically like, I'm not gonna dance for your love. And I guess it's basically telling the person, like, I'm not gonna basically lower myself or make myself put on a performance to get you to take me seriously. You're either going to love me or you're not going to love me. And the song has a really groovy sound to it. Like, definitely it's not lap dance like at a club in Atlanta with people shaking ass and, you know, doing this number. It's not that kind of lap dance song. It's more of a, like, we went out to dinner last night and we had a really good time. We went back to your place. I wanted to get us in the mood, so I threw on a sexy track, and now I'm grinding in your lap. Like, that kind of lap dance. But I think it's odd because, again, it kind of gives off the vibe of like a private lap dance song, but it is, I ain't gonna dance. So, you know, it's got a nice irony to it, which I appreciate. But this song has Key's best vocal performance on it. Like, if you listen to the entire album and you're like, which song does Key sound the best? Outside of his kind of lower register for Bound, I think this is the song where Key really is singing his ass off. I really, really like this song. I thought it was a really good song. I think this is probably in my top 3, if not top 4 for this album. Top 3 is going to be Ain't Gonna Dance, Another Life, and Guilty Pleasure, for sure. So yeah, I thought I would make sure to note that because I really, really, really thought that was a good song. I thought it was an interesting place for Key to be. It didn't sound like something I feel like he's done before, so it was a revelation. Okay, next we have Another Life, which I wrote another Weeknd-esque song. And this song is co-written by Curtis Richardson, which I don't know if that name sounds familiar to any of you, but Curtis Richardson is one of the songwriters / producers for Taman's Move, which is still Taman's biggest song ever. But it's got a really nice groove to it too. It's all in English, which I don't know why I did not catch that the first time I heard this song. The first time I heard this song, I'm like, oh, this song is cool. And then the second time I listened to it, I'm like, wait a minute. It's all in English, which only lends to the theory that when Key sings all in English, the song slaps. Like, it's just a thing. You're going to have to accept it from now on. Anytime Key does a song all in English, it is going to be one of the best songs on the album, because Imagine was one of the best songs on his first album, and that was all in English. So yeah, I really thought that Another Life, honestly, it should have been the title track for me. For me, the vibe, he should have recorded it in English and Korean, and he should have made the Korean the title track. This song has it. This song really does have it. And it's sad that it was released as a pre-release song, because people definitely listened to that song thinking this is the vibe of both the album and probably not even as good as the title track. And then they got to the title track and they were like, bro, what the fuck? I'm so disappointed. I'm so misled. At least that was my feeling about things. Okay, next, track number 10 is Delight. This song starts off a little bit slower and then it picks up. This song I wrote in my notes, again being very specific. This is a girl group B-side, very fourth gen from a reality show. This song sounds like this could have been a From Is 9 song. This song sounds like it could have been, a Produce 101 girl group song. This song sounds like a B-side song from the second release of a girl group that was formed on a television show. And there's nothing wrong with that, but those songs have one major thing happening for them. They're not memorable. Like, no one listens to the B-sides of IOI and be like, that's my favorite song, girl. No, it doesn't happen. And so I feel like that's what's going on with this song. Like, every once in a while you get like a really cool B-side, like, even Red Velvet will give you a Kingdom Come here and there. But this is like, we need to fill out the mini album. I have a song, the girls can sing it. The problem is, the reason why those types of songs work for girl groups like this is because they're the kind of songs that are boring. And when you get like 5 different voices or 6 different voices singing the song, that's what adds the color, the contrast, the texture to the song. This is that song, but it's only Key singing, and Key is definitely running through his entire vocal register. He's going down, he's going up, he's rapping, he's singing, but it's still his voice. So you're still getting one tone throughout the song. And so the song's not great because it's Key's one tone throughout the song. And then, like I said, it's a song that really is made to have multiple voices in order to give it a depth and give it some interest and just make it more of a vibe. So disappointed. Last song we have is Proud. This is another song that Key co-wrote. This is the second song on the album that he co-wrote. I thought it was a nice sentimental song. It didn't feel as sappy as Goat did, which I really appreciated. Key has some really good harmonies on here. He does a lot of harmonizing with himself on this record, and he sounds really, really good. So I really like that about it. And the song itself had a very kind of like California sundown feeling to it. So, hey, Jazzy! Oh, girl, it's been so long. We have to talk sometime. Anyway, and I'm almost done with this live too. I feel so bad. So anyway, this song very much is like a very feel good, I'm proud of me. Like, this is the kind of song that somebody would play at a graduation, but like a happy graduation song. I thought it really worked. For Key. I definitely think if he's going to write a song about himself and like his journey, this is the kind of song I'd rather hear about than Goat. I like this one way better. But that was the last track on the album. And, I like Key a lot. Key surprises me when it comes to his music all the time. Like when Key's first album came out, I did not know what to think. I didn't know if I was gonna like it. I couldn't pin down Key's sound in SHINee. So when his first album came out, I wasn't sure what to expect. I liked it. It had a lot of really good stuff on it. Hologram has one of my favorite R&B songs that anyone solo from SHINee has ever done. You need to check out Hologram. It's his Japanese release. It's really, really good. But then Bad Love came out, and Bad Love as a title track took me a while to get used to. Even though I really like The Weeknd and it's a very Weeknd-esque sound, but it took me a minute to get used to it. And the rest of the album was okay, but wasn't really my fave. Gasoline, I don't know if the problem is that this album was written in a rush or if there was just, I don't know, if Key just wasn't inspired by anything when he wrote this album. Well, when he didn't write this album, he only wrote 2 songs. But when he put together this album, selected the tracks, maybe he just wasn't feeling very inspired. But there's so many songs on this album that are influenced by other people's songs, but they don't feel like they inspired anything special out of Key. Again, favorite songs on here, Another Life, Guilty Pleasure, and Ain't Gonna Dance. Those are my favorite songs out of here. If I was going to give a fourth one, I'd probably give that to Proud. But I wish that I knew what kind of artist Key was. Like, I think that's the thing that I come away from this album feeling the most, is that in the past, I've always been like really a champion for the fact that Key is so versatile. And I've been excited to see what Key does with his discography. But now I'm at a point where I need to know who Key is. And I don't feel like in this album, I know who Key is. And that is frustrating because we're now 2 full albums and 2 mini albums deep in Key's solo discography. At this point, Key has more solo material than Onu has. And if he releases like 2 more projects, he'll have more solo material than Jonghyun had. Crazy, right? And so I really, really wanted more. I really, really, really wanted more. But I'm not mad at Key. Like I said, I found some gems on here of my own that I really can see myself replaying, that I can see having growth potential. But on the whole, I'm really looking forward to the packaging. I'm not really looking forward to owning the album. So that's how I feel about this project. But, you know, I'm still glad to have something from Key. I'm still glad to have him holding it down for the SHINee cause while Taemin's in the military before they can all get back together. And I guess I'll leave off with this. Minho, when is your solo coming out? I know that you have a lot of pressure because you're looking at Onu, you're looking at Key, and you're like, I gotta match their energies. There's hardly any musical landscape that hasn't been covered by people in SHINee at this point. So Minho, go ahead and get out there before you find yourself competing style for style with everybody else in SHINee. Because yeah, there's not a single thing that the rest of the group hasn't tried to cover at this point. We've had different members rapping, we've had members singing, we've had members doing R&B, we've had members attempting rock, we've had full-on ballad albums. Like, SHINee does a little bit of everything. So at this point, unless Minho's thinking about doing a heavy metal album, he needs to get on it. He really, really does. But yeah, I'm just happy to have SHINee stuff. SHINee will always be that comfort group for me. There'll never be a period in time where I don't feel like SHINee doesn't do it for me. Like, I've been ambivalent on projects before. I have an infamous review here on my channel when Odd came out, talking about how much I did not like that album, and then I turn around and told everybody that Married to the Music is my favorite SHINee album. So, you know, opinions change, and it might. But, you know, there's just always something that feels very warm about hearing my favorite group, seeing the members of my favorite group thrive. And more than anything, because I'm old and I'm sentimental, and also because I've had my own challenges with the way I felt about life, it brings me immense amounts of pleasure to see the members of SHINee happy. to see them doing the things that they love. Even if it's not a project that I particularly love, just seeing them out there doing things that they love, enjoying themselves, producing, appearing on things, smiling, it does a lot for me because I don't know. There was a moment there after Jonghyun died where I kind of thought he was next. I'm not saying that he would. I'm just saying there was a moment there where I was like, if I was going to lay it on the ground for any member of SHINee and take a bet, which one would it be? And I thought Key would be next because I knew what pressure Jongin was going through, but I was only imagining that there was even more pressure on Key. And something that I'm going to say this, and I don't know, don't take this the wrong way. How do I say this? This is probably the most out that Key has been on one of his projects. And that's another reason why I feel like critiquing this project the way that I am now, I'm sticking strictly to the music, but I also feel like maybe I shouldn't, because I feel like this project, even though Key only co-wrote 2 songs, is kind of personal for him in that the clothing he chose for Gasoline, the song choices that he chose for the album that sound like artists that he likes, makes me feel like, yeah, of all the albums that he's done, this one probably is the one that is the most rainbow friendly, I guess I should say. But again, I don't want to assume Key's sexuality. I mean, I feel like whatever he decides to divulge to the public, that's his business. I'm not saying he has to come out anytime soon. Also, because I realize Korea is not the most safe place for anybody to try to come out. But, I mean, yeah, I'm just going to say, I feel like because this album, maybe not in terms of music, but in other aspects, feels like it's a more personal statement for Key, I'm so glad to have it. So that's all I have to say. And thank you guys for watching this video. And that's all. Bye.